Hello and welcome back to Finger Guns with Tony, Dave, and James. I'm the dazzling Dave Baldwin, and here I am with
Taste of Tony B.
and
Juicy Jimmy.
there
I
we
think
go.
still.
How we doing tonight? I love it. Juicy and tasty. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are gross.
But, it's like 9:30. I'm exhausted. Everybody's exhausted.
I'm okay.
We're gonna get
fine.
through this.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you guys. I guess I'm
Yeah.
the only one exhausted.
We didn't have a
guess
full
so.
fucking day today. Then that was on you.
Full day of NFL football. You know how
Oh
much
my
I
God.
love football.
Yeah.
I thought you did like football. Your favorite you have a favorite team.
Just because I have a favorite team doesn't mean I enjoy watching football on a
Is it-
regular basis.
Is it still the Titans?
It's still the Titans.
Yeah,
So
okay.
is the Titans,
All
man.
right. Well,
Titans
hey,
till the end.
Got to
You
check.
find your
I
team.
don't know.
You can't just bounce. You can't do what every Leaf fan does.
That's why Dave's still a fan of Colorado.
Yeah.
What do you mean every Leaf fan stays a Leaf fan, Tony? They just have a backup team that they like.
That's true.
See, I'm
Yeah.
all in on the Titans. No backups. Just 100% Titan.
All the way. It's a lot of disappointment.
The
A lot of
Yeah.
disappointment.
Leaf
Kinda like
fans have been raised on disappointment for the
It's
last
true.
55
60?
years,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
60 years.
Yeah.
So they need to have a backup just in case. It's
Yeah.
always their year until it's not. So they need a
Yeah.
backup.
It teaches
And I
you
respect
a good lesson about heartache and not getting what you want
And pain.
and just acceptance. There's a lot of acceptance as a Leaf fan.
Don't they have like the most season ticket holders and like they're the most expensive
Yeah.
tickets in the league?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a history teacher that used to joke that you could take the entire Leafs team, fire them all, replace them with one single head of cabbage, put it out on the ice, and the Scotiabank would still be sold out every single fucking game.
That's
Doesn't
true.
matter. All of it is sold. A lot of it is corporate money as well. There's just like people, companies that own these fucking platinum seats and boxes and all of that. Looking at you, Dave.
Hey, man, don't hate don't hate on it though. I love those
that-
box seats.
Yeah, I know, but it just contributes to the problem. Us regular fans can't afford it. That's why I go to Marley's games instead. It's the
I'll
poor
bring-
man's Leafs.
I will bring you one day.
It's a business meeting.
We're still waiting.
Just bring Tony and I and just say, hey, look, we're recording this podcast. We're trying to see if we can put some fucking ads in there, or we can get one of their ads on our shit. And there you go. See, look,
There you
we're
go.
networking. We're working.
We're working. Bringing
I'll dress up in
everybody
a
together.
suit.
I like.
I'll
that.
make a business
wear a
card.
You don't need
Yeah.
You don't need.
I got
suit. You
business
just wear a
cards.
nice shirt.
I want some
Just wear a nice
wings.
shirt.
I want some goddamn sushi and those goddamn little sliders.
You'll get the sliders and the spring rolls.
Oh fuck! Excellent. See,
Spring rolls. Yeah.
because there's
All right,
like
I'm down.
there's a menu and it's gradual pricing. So
excellent.
the sushi's quite.
It's upper
high.
echelon. What about the
it's
caviar? You're
upper
not
echelon.
springing for the caviar for
Not
us?
spraying for the black caviar.
If Tony wasn't a bitch and came to Monster Jam, maybe we could have rented out a box at
Yeah, I'm so sure I was the
At First
deciding
Ontario.
factor that
You
you guys
were.
couldn't get a box.
you actually were.
Oh my god!
Are
I
we
hate
going?
you all. I hate you.
I'd
all.
like to-
we're going. I still have to email about it, but yeah, we're going.
Okay.
Just a matter of figuring out prices and stuff. But like the box is like 10 and up, Tone.
Yeah.
And there's 9 people going.
Yeah.
There's 8.
Okay, so I wasn't the deciding factor.
Well, your wife would have come with us.
Melissa's not gonna do fucking
It's
Monster
Monster
Jam.
Jam. Get
Are you
outta
kidding
here.
me? Get
Those are
outta
her
here.
people, Tony.
Is Hillary Duff fucking singing the national anthem? If Hillary Duff's not singing the national anthem, she wants nothing to do with it.
I don't know that Hillary Duff is coming to Hamilton's Monster Jam to sing the national anthem, Tony.
It's still her people, Tony. It's still her people.
What is that supposed to mean, man? I don't know. I don't know. That, all right,
Ouch.
man. We're lucky we're doing this fucking via Zoom right now because I'm gonna fucking come at you like a spider monkey.
He's still going to. Tony's hopping in his car.
sister-in-law, man. I can. She's
I'm gonna literally lethal weapon your house.
Oh my God.
I am gonna drive through the front window.
Can you at least promise that no one will be there?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Do
course.
it when no one's there, at least.
All right.
okay?
All right. Sounds good.
Be sensible about it.
Yeah.
Okay. No one can be there. When do you guys go and drop Quentin off at the That's
All
cool.
right.
Just come back with a
send
car.
Tony a text. Let him know that it's empty, and he'll swing by.
I'll take Chloe too, just to be
Yeah,
safe.
just to be safe, you know.
Yeah. All right, Tony. I'll get right on that.
Well, this episode took a dark turn
What
very
the fuck?
fast.
Jesus.
We don't want to discuss you committing a crime.
Naturally.
So why don't we just go into our recurring segment, Best Man Worst?
It's
which we haven't-
back.
Yeah, in Pog form.
Oh fuck! Always.
And I guess before I kick it off, I just wanted to give a shout out to my professor from high school. No, from J school, Salem Allerton. He came over today and we watched Tim Burton's Batman on 4K.
Nice.
It was just as amazing as you think it was. And Tony, the sound effects weren't as distracting as I thought they'd be.
What about the strings? Are the strings there?
Well, you know, the string when he comes down.
Yes. In
That's the one you're
the
talking
art
about,
gallery,
right?
yeah.
He needs that string. I realized this later because he
comes through the window, right?
Because he comes through the window, so he's repelling through the
Ah.
window. Because initially my ex pointed it out to us, and we're like, "Oh, he's on springs. It looks ridiculous." And I've since realized he needs it because he's repelling down.
Yeah. He can't fly.
Makes sense. He can't fly.
He can
Not
only
like
glide.
that. It's not like
It's because the next moment he has that grapple thing that shoots.
he cooks
Yeah.
like that, and then he's like, "Hold on," and then he goes. But yeah,
zip lines across.
masterpiece.
Excellent.
And just
I love that.
the Prince music.
Yeah, naturally.
Best
Bad
soundtrack.
Dance. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's
Come on now.
no question. There's no question.
I
Party
love it.
man.
R.I.P. Anyways, I can kick it off.
Sure.
The one that I want to talk about being the best, other than The Menu, which I rewatched and loved, was the new Netflix documentary called Senior, which is about Robert Downey Sr.
Excellent.
and kind of the last kind of years of his life, because he has Parkinson's and he's starting to go. So Robert Downey Jr. gets a team together to kind of film like him hanging out with his dad and stuff,
Right.
and kind of like his experiences talking about the film industry, how he kind of like got up there, how RDJ kind of like became a movie star, and like they don't shy away from the drugs and the alcohol,
Right. Yeah.
which I thought was refreshing, because usually you would just kind of be like, nope.
Yeah.
But
Just gonna skip over that part.
but yeah, it's really intimate. It's really moving. It's nice to see that not all dads suck.
Sure.
And I really like the black and white. It's a lot of black and white,
Oh, that's nice.
which looks quite lovely, because I love how black and white looks on digital.
Mm-hmm.
It just translates
Sharper. Yeah.
It's very sharp, and it translates really well. Like obviously black and white film looks incredible, but I really like the look of black and white on digital. And yeah, like is it like, because I know you said it talks a lot about RDJ's life. So is it kind of like a hybrid document, like focused on his father and sort of like that angle, but like kind of like Robert Downey
How his
overall,
his
like
father,
between senior and junior,
kind of like how his father started making movies and how he kind of went up with it, because he was in those movies, then he kind of branched off into his own thing, and then like he
his
had
life versus
his drug spiral, and then kind of came back from that. That's kind of where they don't really talk about Marvel at all.
Right. Okay. Well, that's nice.
So they kind of leave that all out, even though he has the Tony Stark beard in a couple of the segments.
Right. Of course.
They only really focused on like his earlier stuff, like Chaplin and Less Than Zero and the stuff he did in the 80s.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then like his dad talks about his drug addictions and how it like destroyed his marriage, and then like is very sorrowful because he's the reason RDJ got into drugs.
Yeah,
right.
Kind of like his mistakes kind of rubbed off on RDJ, and that's what led him down the path.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and just kind of reconciling that and reconciling like how RDJ is like on a better path now, and how he's different with his kids.
Nice.
But yeah, it's short. It's only like 95 minutes, but it's there's some good laughs and some good, there's some poignant moments, and it's also intercut with Senior wants to film some sort of avant-garde film.
Right.
So they keep cutting to like footage of him with like a crew kind of filming avant-garde style through New York.
Oh.
So that's kind of cool too. And they keep referring to each other as Senior and Junior.
That's cute. I like that.
Fun. Yeah. And like apparently his name's not even Robert Downey. It's like he has a completely different name.
Oh my God.
But he had to change it because I don't remember the reason he changed it, because I think he got more work thinking he was more Irish than what he was.
Oh.
So he went by Robert Downey, and then I guess he just named his son Robert Downey as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's it comes out on Netflix, I believe, the beginning of December.
Nice.
And yeah, it's worth
checking
out.
Cool.
Yeah, Tony, did you dig it?
I dug it. There's definitely some tender moments in there. Like I said to you offline here, I said the last.
Yeah, we took
minutes,
it offline.
Yeah, we took it offline. The last 20 minutes nearly broke me, because like you really see like the deterioration on Bob Senior, and
you're on first name
Bob.
first name Bob.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he went by. His name was Bob Downey. Yeah, those last 20 minutes, and like seeing just how like they had to move because of his condition, they had to move the editing suite into the bedroom kind of thing, and like he was bedridden, but like they were like going through it together, and like just like Robert Downey Jr. in the chair next to him and this stuff. It's like those real. It was real moments. It was genuine, and you could really feel that in that.
Yeah, because there's a good chunk of the movie where like RDJ is kind of the iron, like his Tony Stark persona, where he's kind of sarcastic and kind of like not showing the emotion type thing. And then closer to the end, you can see it's kind of a facade, and that he's actually like coming to terms with the fact that his dad is falling apart.
Right.
Yeah. And you get like firsthand like footage of like Robert Downey Jr. talking to his therapist and stuff, and like it's real. Like this is not acting. This is it's very lived in kind of thing, right? So I really admired that of this doc. It was real and raw.
Oh, it's awesome.
Very there's all sorts of movies I want to watch now.
Yeah, like his filmography is pretty fucking wild. Man.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some
weird stuff.
It's pretty wacky, and there's some RDJ stuff I want to check out now. The older stuff.
Dope.
So
cool.
Give it a watch.
Yeah, it's on my watch list for sure.
Mm-hmm. So Tony, give us your best.
My best is from Netflix. It's a little bit
Netflix week.
Yeah, good Netflix week. This one's from a release in June. It's The Sandman, Mr. Adam Sandler. His movie called Hustle.
Ooh,
I thought you actually watched The Sandman. Isn't there a fucking show?
It's a show.
Yeah, I was just like, what? Yeah. That's Tony. That's not a movie.
I know. What are you doing, right? No, it's Adam Sandler, man, and it's a drama, and he is actually trying in this one.
Oh, that's cute.
He's trying. He just tries harder in most movies. In some movies he tries harder than others.
Some movies. So
some were just a vacation for him.
Exactly. True. Just hanging out with the friends, right? And so this one, he plays a scout for the Philadelphia 76ers. He goes to Europe, finds a prospect, wants to bring him over. 76ers don't want to bring him over. brings him over anyway, and then hilarity ensues. No, basically he's really fighting for this one prospect, and like everyone's telling him no, it's not going to happen, kind of thing. And it's like an underdog story of like Sandler like trying to bring this guy up the ranks to try and get him into the NBA.
Got it.
And there's nothing more to that. It's your standard underdog story. I really enjoyed it. I'm a sucker for basketball movies. I'm an even bigger sucker for underdog stories.
Sure.
And a sucker for Adam Sandler, apparently.
And a sucker for Adam Sandler. Yeah. Yo, Queen Latifah plays his wife in this one, and it's the dynamic is a little weird, but I actually kind of dug it. They had some cute chemistry together. I really enjoyed it
because he's married to a woman who's actually his age.
Yeah,
and won't take his shit.
Yeah. It was definitely not what I was expecting. I know they're definitely friends and stuff, but yeah, they had some cute chemistry. I really enjoyed that, and you should definitely check it out if you guys are a fan of basketball. If you're a fan of Sandman, it's worth checking out. Even if you're not all that, it's definitely a good feel good movie. It's a warm hug.
They're pushing for the Oscar for him.
I don't
for the nomination. It might happen.
If they didn't give it to him for Uncut Gems, they're definitely not going to give it to him for this one.
It was a tougher year. It was a more tough year. This year is a little weaker.
Well, all fingers are crossed. I will definitely be campaigning for Mr. Adam Sandler for Best Actor
for the Sandman.
Yes, maybe he gets the Spirit. Maybe he gets the Spirit nomination. Who knows?
He already has a Spirit Award. Calm down. I don't think Hustle. I don't think it would qualify. It definitely was filmed for more than $30 million.
Yeah, there's definitely a hell of a lot of basketball players in there, like notable basketball players.
Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, that 5th spot is up for grabs. So because the Sun isn't getting it.
No, definitely not. Let's just forget that movie even happened.
I can't wait till James sees it. Oh,
I'm so excited. Not excited.
James, hit us with your best.
Oh, you want my best? All right. Well, I feel like this segment is gonna, well, at least for me, it's gonna be mainly sponsored by Netflix. So we'll just keep the train rolling since we're going. I want to talk about All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh,
the remake, the 2022 Netflix remake.
I wanted to see that. I had a screener and it expired because I had to go to Punta Cana
for some fuck's wedding. Yeah. Again.
Goddamn chodes, right? Chodes
fucking chodes, man.
Fucking chodes.
Fucking chodes.
Oh, so this I've seen the original. I'm a huge fan of the original as well. From the original, I guess one of the original adaptations from the 30s. Very, very good. But this was incredible. Like, I haven't, to bring back our phrase from the last podcast episode, it was bleak, man. Like, I mean, like, and I know it's World War I shot from, like, it's told from the perspective of the German side, which obviously, yeah, they lose the war. Spoiler alert for World War I, if you don't know.
How could you spoil that for me?
But
spoiler alert,
you scum.
So one of the things,
man, why would you do that?
I'm sorry. One of the things I liked, or I thought was clever about like the one from the 30s, was that everyone was speaking English on the German side, and like the other side was speaking their regular language, so it could have been French or English, but they would like make it gibberish, so like you couldn't understand them, sort of thing, which would have put you in the mindset of the soldier. In this one, they just went with the actual languages, so it's a German movie and French, and those are the only two languages spoken in the entire thing. But the depictions they have of World War I are some of the most fucking horrific images I've ever seen, and like they didn't shy away from this isn't a rah glory fucking war battle shit. This is holy fuck, this is brutal. Like, it is a meat grinder of bodies and chaos and destruction and just death all around you. And just like it starts off where you follow these 4 guys that are like young teens that join up in the German cause towards the end. It's like 1917 when they join, and they get to the front lines or whatever, and some shit ensues, and then it skips ahead an entire year, and just like the difference in this one guy is just like, it's like he goes from fresh-faced, ready to fight for the cause, to like a grizzled soldier who's just like, I don't know if I'm going to fucking make it out of here alive. And it's just insane. It follows that story. It also follows like the other half of it where they're trying to end the war. So the armistice and it all culminates on the events that happened on November 11th. So, and I ended up watching it that week right before Remembrance Day as well, which was like really kind of like fitting and tied it all together. But yeah, it's long. It's like 2.5 hours, but it is probably one of the best depictions of that story ever so far. Totally worth it if you are interested at all in a mostly accurate but still fictional depiction of World War I towards the end. So,
is it? We're talking about brutality.
Yeah.
When I think of war and brutality, I think of the D-Day sequence from Saving Private Ryan. How does it kind of match to that?
It's like that, but every time you're on the battlefield.
Okay.
Like like.
So there's no real like.
There's a point, and this isn't
like. Let's take a breath and talk.
There's moments of breath because like you're watching, as I said, you're watching like
you have to.
It's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's moments in there where it's like they're trying to find food or something because that was a big problem towards the end of the war. But there's also like as I said, they're trying to negotiate the armistice as well. So there's moments of just like diplomacy and like talking back and forth between the two sides to figure out the peace talks. And there's moments cut back where, you know, like you have really nice moments where one of the soldiers receives a letter from his wife, but even that letter is fucked. But honestly, like one of the most terrifying, and it's I can't spoil a movie about something that is like historically pretty accurate, but there's a moment in it where like they towards the end is where it's not exactly accurate, but anyway, tanks show up because World War I was like the first few tanks that ended up coming through. But there's a scene where it's basically like these soldiers had never encountered a tank before, and like these tanks are coming at them, and it's one of the most like, I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. Like it was terrifying the way that they shot it. It was very much shot from the soldier's perspective of these fucking like huge behemoth metal machines coming towards you and like barreling over people, literally watching people like get squeezed like a tube of toothpaste. Like it's horrific, but I think that ends up being like more well done in my eyes. Let's just like stop glorifying the shit. Just like, it wasn't a glory time. It was fucked if you were on the front line. Like you were, nobody understands that anymore, of like that level of fear that you have that is just like unattainable, and then still having to like charge into battle. It's insane. But anyway, totally worth a watch. Just prepare yourself.
It premiered at TIFF, and it's Germany's pick for the Oscars. So
that makes sense.
I have a feeling it will get into best.
It's a front runner for international right now, isn't it?
It's one of the
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, that and Triple R.
No, Triple R isn't.
Oh, that's right. It didn't. They went for Best Picture for that, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think your song might get into Best Song.
Oh, it fucking better. That's enough about that. Anyway, that was my best, but I'm really hopeful for it. Go all quality on the Western Front. I don't really know what its competition is either, but
there's plenty.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good year.
It's a robust year for international film.
Yeah,
and like it may even sneak into Best Picture. Potentially.
Interesting.
Nice.
Good for Netflix for picking that up then.
Yeah. Good for them.
Dave,
I guess we're sticking with streaming. I'm going to pivot off of Netflix and go to Apple Plus.
Ooh.
And since I'm still talking about docs, we're going with another doc. Selena Gomez, My Mind and Me.
Oh, nice. You watched that. Nice.
I did. It's a warts and all look at Selena Gomez and her comeback, because she was on tour in 2016.
Yeah.
And the documentarian was hired to film it.
Yeah.
And she cancels the tour halfway through because she has all sorts of mental health problems, and she's having issues they don't really like, it's a litany of issues, and she has to go to rehab. She has to kind of come back from that, and then it stops. Like, that's how it begins, and then like it cuts to like 3 years later, and she's better, and she wants to start working again, and kind of the ups and downs of trying to do that, and like kind of very warts and all, and just unfiltered.
Right.
And it's an interesting movie, but at the same time it's very glossy. It reminded me a lot of there's a Demi Lovato one that came out at South by Southwest, whose the name is escaping me, but it was that ended up on YouTube, but kind of the same
Style
idea. Demi Lovato Dancing with the Devil is what it's called. But the same idea of kind of warts and all, kind of like these former child stars grew up and they have problems because they grew up in the public eye, and kind of they missed out on that social aspect of elementary school, high school, because they were working.
Yeah.
Right. And then they have all this money, and they're spending all this money, and it didn't feel genuine. It just felt very manufactured, and like any of the good moments that felt more introspective and more inspired seemed to kind of get cut short.
Got it.
Or kind of didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And like it was weird what they were focusing on. Like they didn't talk about only murders in the building at all, which seems like it should have been at least at the end.
Yeah.
Because there's like a whole huge focus on like when she went for a trip with the we, is it we, who does we?
Who does
like, it's
we?
like We Day. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So she's involved with them, and she goes to Kenya to kind of like see where some of the money she's been raising is going, and talks to like female students there, and kind of about how their lives are versus how it is in the States type thing. And like there's a huge focus there, and then it cuts to COVID, and the We organization kind of like falls apart.
Yeah.
And there's just like a random scene where she's watching it in real time, and she's like, okay, so that's a waste of my time. I just wasted all that time, and it means nothing now, type thing. And then it cuts to something else, and it's kind of like,
okay,
I feel like it needed a little more like a touch more focus, and a touch more genuine. It did, it was it felt like a lot of it was disingenuous, and anything that was genuine, they just didn't
like a bit more of a puff piece than.
Yeah, it was very puffy.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like, I think they could have made a whole documentary out of this one part where she's doing interviews on the press circuit.
Yeah.
And they're showing footage of the interviews and like behind the scenes type thing, and she's answering questions, and they're stupid questions. Like, what's your favorite color?
Oh.
Or like, what's your ideal date type thing.
Oh my God.
And I think the one question is, hey, after this is all over, like after your career's over type thing, or like when you decide you don't want to do music anymore or acting, what do you want to do?
Yeah. And
she said something like, I want to be a philanthropist. I want to be raising money for causes type thing. That's really what I want to do. And then like she leaves it at a point where like the next question should be more about philanthropy, but then the journalist is like, okay, that's good, I'm all done. And she's just kind of sitting there like, what the fuck? I just said something not puffy at all.
Yeah.
You just didn't
even pick up on it. Yeah.
Right. So there's a whole section where she's talking about that and kind of her frustration at like having answered the stupid ones and how they're not doing anything with the actual good ones.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could have been a whole documentary on its own.
Yeah.
Mostly because I know I'm not always the greatest with questions, but I thought that was interesting.
It was a good question that probably deserved a follow-up, and that guy blew it.
Yeah. Blew it big time. So yeah, it was
Just-
kind of a meh.
Sure.
I wanted more from it.
No.
But good for Selena, and I hope her road to recovery continues.
Did they mention anything about her cooking show?
No, they didn't mention the cooking show.
Oh, see,
What
no.
the
What the hell?
It was
Missed
more of like
opportunities,
the
man.
music.
Oh,
More of the music, but
Yeah.
like,
That's probably what
there's-
the focus was. Yeah.
sure.
But she had all these different branches. Like she was doing all these different things. So why wouldn't you talk about any of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. That cooking show did like come out of COVID. Like that was what she
Right.
did to pass the time,
Mm-hmm.
Right?
right?
And then she was on Only Murders.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't just doing music. She was doing all sorts of other things. She was throwing herself into all these other things.
Yeah.
So
It's unfortunate.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then they talk about her, it's lupus, right? Is that what she has?
Yes.
Yeah. So they talk about that too.
Nice. Well, not nice, but cool. Not cool. I don't know.
It's
It's a topic.
it doesn't shy away from what she's
Right.
actually going through.
That's good.
It's yeah. So Tony, meh.
Speaking of unfortunate things, my meh was an unfortunate movie that I wanted more from.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about the summer blockbuster called Bullet Train.
Oh, that's fair though.
Yeah. That movie was really convoluted. Like, I feel like it got more and more like convoluted as they introduced more characters.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, and
And keeping track of who's who became harder.
yeah. And what did I say for Letterbox? My Letterbox review was called, this movie should have been called Barely an Inconvenience, the movie, because literally, like, Brad Pitt was in a jam. There is always just that one thing that like he had to just get out of that situation.
Yeah.
Perfect example, the whole snake bite thing.
Yeah.
With like she gets him, and then all of a sudden they have the end, just so happens to have the antidote. Like, give me a fucking break, man.
There's some fun parts.
There's
to it,
definitely
though.
some
Yeah.
fun
I had
parts.
some- I had some fun with it.
It's fun.
The action was decent and everything,
Yeah.
but like after the action was over, like
And fucking
wanted-
Aaron Taylor Johnson like on the back of a bullet
Yeah.
train.
Yeah.
like
okay.
and like
Okay,
him
then.
just like
Okay.
fucking Hulkamania the window. Give me a break, okay?
No, I buy that.
No,
buy
I
that.
don't.
I don't
do
know.
not.
I don't know about hanging on the back of the bullet train, but I buy
I can see
busting
him
through
I
it.
can see him busting through a window, but
Fuck you guys. No, he would fly like.
oh no, on the back of a bullet. No, I just in general I think he could bust a window. I can't he can't
on the back
he can't
of a
do
bullet
both.
train.
No, he cannot do both.
No, but I could, if the train was not moving and he was in the back, I could see him specifically punching through that window. I thought there was some clever moments. It reminded me a lot of Smoking Aces, which I had mentioned to you.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely some Smoking Aces vibes. I will say, what's his name? Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the best part. Like he lit
love
it
him.
up. He was having a complete blast.
Paperboy's the best.
Who'd you say, James?
Paperboy's the best.
Paperboy's the best. He was the best thing, and I liked the.
He usually is the best thing about any movie he's in.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say I really enjoyed his bit, and spoiler alert: the little wee. The Channing Tatum cameo was also one of my favorite bits as well.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was also fucking long.
That too, like it's so long, and like just so many backstories, so many like flashbacks, flash forwards, like.
But that's the style.
Yeah,
that is the style
I
of what
get
that
it.
Movie is.
I get it. I get the style. It's just it was aggravating to watch.
Yeah,
I
think I would have liked when Michael Shannon shows up. I think I would have liked it better if I didn't know Michael Shannon was showing up.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know. I didn't know he was. I knew he was in it. I just forgot. Like,
oh, okay.
So when he showed up, it was like an utter surprise for me.
Okay, because I was just sitting there like, where the fuck is Michael Shannon?
Yeah.
Because he's seriously cool when he shows up, obviously.
Yeah, and like when he does like the roll on his arm, like that's badass. There's
cool.
there's badass scenes in it.
Yeah.
There's just not enough to bring it home.
You're a big Bad Bunny fan?
No, I'm not. It was a meh. It was a meh.
That's fair.
I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters.
I still want to read the book.
I just think it's kind of goofy that it's clearly a tailor-made movie for someone else, and the someone else shows up in a brief, like a 3-second cameo.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, you don't need to be clever. Like, this isn't clever, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need, like, it's clearly tailor-made for this person, and this isn't a funny in joke.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
yeah, it's worth a laundry diversion
on a Saturday evening, or not a Saturday evening, a Saturday
evening,
not even a Sunday even, like a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
on a
Saturday matinee. Day. I like that.
That's fair. I could see myself just like, oh, this is on. Yeah, all right. I'll
leave it on. Yeah.
I'll leave it on.
Saturday afternoon. It's too cold to go outside. You just want to
throw on some Bullet Train.
Throw on some Bullet Train.
You're totally a Percy, Tony.
Yeah, he's definitely a Percy. Also, I think like it's a movie for dads too. Like definitely a dads out there that would just enjoy it. I know my dad liked it, so
yeah,
that sounds right.
I didn't mind it.
Oh, see, there you go. See, it's already happening to Dave. He's starting to. He's gonna cream his pants over All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a war history picture. He's got to get into that now.
It's true. You're gonna come back. You're gonna come over one time, and I'm gonna be working on my Civil War rebellion.
Painting his soldiers.
Yeah. He's got his replica
magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
my meh. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Athena.
Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a meh. Mainly because it's okay. So, starting with the good part of this movie, the cinematography in it is fucking aces. It's incredibly well done. The opening sequence alone is worth almost the entire price of admission.
I've heard that.
It's intense. It's chaotic, but it does such a good job following the action. And so it's I'll call it gimmick, is that it does one shots, but not exclusively. Like it knows when it has to take a moment to cut and it doesn't make sense to continue its one shot. So I would say like maybe 85-90% of that movie is one shots. And then there's some scenes that are like you cut for it just because it doesn't make sense to do it. Some of the work though, like the camera work itself is fucking great. Like it's seamless to the point where some of it I can't even tell. Like some of the obvious cuts are there. Like if someone walks directly in front of camera, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. All right. You hit a cut in there. That's fine. But some of them are like really seamless transitions where you're just following this guy and he like hops on a scooter and you're suddenly on the scooter as well. Or like they do like a crane lift as like a whole bunch of guys are running up the stairs and they do a crane lift with the camera and it comes up to the top and seamlessly just like moves in and like starts on a scooter. And like, you know, you're on a scooter and you're moving and it's just like how like the work that went into planning that is incredible.
It could have been one take. Some of them
probably were. It was just like, that's what I mean. Like it's incredible the amount of like planning that they did to make it perfect.
Because I'm just thinking of like the Raid 2 where they do the car chase.
Yeah.
And like the camera.
Oh, they pass it through. Yeah.
They literally passed it through the car.
And they definitely could. It's just like, it was so steady and so smooth. Like you don't even see like, there's not even like a pause for like where they would be like, and okay, now go. It's like move. And it's just, anyway, very, very, very well done. Technically.
Okay.
Plot wise. What? Sorry.
I was gonna say, how did you hear about this movie? Because like,
it just showed up on Twitter. It was just some people fucking talking about it.
I have not heard of this movie until I saw it on your letterbox.
I was literally, I was scrolling through Twitter and some people were like, "Jesus, this movie's fucking great," and I was like, "All right, no, throw it." Like I read the synopsis and I'm like, I'll throw it on the list. And then like as a side note, I'm taking French lessons. And I was talking to my French instructor and she's like, "Oh, you know what? Let's both watch this movie and then we'll like converse about it in French." And like also it's the movie's in French, so it was like perfect. I needed the subtitles though. Like it's way too dramatic. Like it's action thrillery, so everyone's talking like so fast that like I would have lost so much of it if I didn't have them on. But it was still nice to like watch a movie in French and pick up a lot of what they were saying.
Taking French, good for you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so outside of that, plot wise, it's a movie about a kid gets killed by cops. And this poor apartment complex, real uplifting, this poor apartment complex full of like lower income people in France uprises against the police force. And like, that is the plot synopsis. It does a really, really good job up until it doesn't. The third act is not great. And it just kind of waffles the ending. And it just kind of like ends on kind of like a fart. And you're just kind of just like, you were so close to just nailing this thing, and you didn't. So that's where it ended up. It dragged it down for me. It was like, ooh, this is going to be pretty good. I'm really liking this. I really like this a lot. And then the ending hit, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just a meh.
Did you see Les Miserables?
I haven't.
I haven't from 2019 because it sounds very similar to what you're describing.
I think it is. I read some reviews and there was a lot of comparisons to Les Miserables from France, which also doesn't help narrow that down at all. It's what a weird title to choose.
Right. You can just say the 2019 one.
The 2019 Les Miserables, not the musical. Was I kept seeing comparisons to that as well, but it was like
that movie's fucking intense. Did you ever see that one?
No. I watched another one. It was like it was a Danish one at TIFF. It was called Shorta, and it was very similar to like an uprising kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll check out Les Mis because a lot of people were saying do it. So
it's very well done. I really, really liked it.
If you want to see some slick camera work, though, check out Athena. It is kind of worth it for that. And that opening alone is so fucking crazy that it's worth the price of admission for sure. But just don't expect a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that. So
that's my meh. Dave.
All right.
A worst.
I'm going to go with a film that we were really chomping at the bit to see at Fantasia. And we missed out on it, and then I got it afterwards, and you guys clearly lucked out not watching it. It's called All Jacked Up and Full of Worms.
Oh, you're allowed to talk about this now?
I can.
Nice.
It is not good.
Oh, great.
It's not good.
Yeah, that's right. That was on our list. That was on our list. I remember that.
Yeah, it's short and sweet, thank Christ.
Good.
But it's kind of like a disjointed avant-garde kind of a group of individuals doing these having hypnotic dreams and drug trips after they eat worms, and it's just very disjointed, and I wasn't a big fan of where it kind of goes.
Gotcha.
And I described it as a descent into an avant-garde hellscape, which kind of does it.
Okay.
And there's multiple storylines and characters, and it's very niche, and it's just very out there. I admire some of the stylistic choices,
right?
But then like it's just kind of like violent for violence sake, and just kind of like weird just because it could be. And there's a whole bit with this baby sex toy where it's a baby, and then the mouth hole is very large, and it's like an extended bit with this thing, and it's just it's very repulsive.
Oh.
And it's just kind of like, it's all bad. It's very bad taste. Like, even if I wasn't a parent, I'd still be like, this is kind of bad taste, guys.
Yeah, that does not even sound fun.
Yeah, and like there's a bit where they're like pouring milk in it, and it just like the imagery, and you're just like,
ew.
No, why?
Ew.
Like, I don't know. So I don't know what. I don't really know who it's for.
Sure.
But all I know is, yeah, like you said, you guys dodged a bullet, and I don't see myself watching it again.
That's fair.
I don't see myself watching it again.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is no bueno.
That's a big no.
Yeah, that's a no bueno.
That's a no from you, dog.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Appreciate that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking that bullet for us then.
Yes, thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Very welcome. I'm glad I could do it. Mr. Tasty, what is your worst?
So I was doing well, and I'm doing well catching up on movies and stuff. My worst is one that I was very excited to see. I don't know why I was excited to see it, but I wanted to see it. I'm calling this, I don't know why I'm calling this. It is what it is. Black Adam.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you
was there a new hierarchy in the DC universe?
Honestly, like, I think that's like taking it a little bit, like, you know, everyone just needs to take a step back.
No, but Tony, the hierarchy's supposed to change.
I swear to God, if someone says the hierarchy has to change again, it's getting fucking sucker punched by me. Like,
but Black Adam.
I will Todd Bertuzzi. Like,
okay, you're not as vulgar as that sounds. Good luck doing a Todd Bertuzzi to The Rock.
Yeah, like
Tanya Harding him at least.
That's even darker.
It's not even Tanya Harding. It's Jeff Galooly.
Galooly.
All right,
Yeah,
before we go into a dark path, this movie was bad. And you know what? We are in 2022. You know what we don't need in superhero movies? A fucking origin story.
Yeah.
No one gives a flying fuck how did Black Adam come into fruition.
Isn't he like Egyptian or something?
Yeah. I just can't get over how bad it looked. Like, for all that money that was spent on it, it was just a CGI mess. And like, you know that shit they did with Chris Evans in Captain America?
Where they made him small?
Yeah, they did that. They do that to The Rock. And like, yeah, they do that to The Rock.
They couldn't find someone that looks kind of like The Rock?
No, they do that. And he's just like a pinch smaller. Like, you could still see like his like gristled like arms and stuff, but like he like comes down at least, I would say, like a foot and a half.
Oh my God.
It's just so fucking weird. And just the effects are just, I compare it to Bullet Train, because like Bullet Train was like made for less money.
Yeah.
Yet Bullet Train looked 10 times more realistic than Black Adam did. And Black Adam was like, what, 100 to 150?
Yeah. All of it went to Dwayne's pocketbook though. So
obviously all his
there's like $5 million left for CGI. The rest was Dwayne's budget.
All of his buddies
for him negotiating a social media or a social budget.
Yeah.
Something like that. All his producing buddies were on it too, and like,
of course,
they were all there. It was just so bad, guys. Like 10 minutes in, I looked at Melissa and I was like, "This is gonna be bad." And Melissa didn't even realize that it was like connected to Shazam at all, because at one point he goes Shazam and he like transforms into Black Adam. And she's like, "Is this connected to Shazam?" I was like, "Yeah, he's a villain."
It is.
And they're like,
he's Shazam's greatest villain.
Yeah. She didn't know that.
Yeah, because it's not really marketed well.
No, it's not at all. Like,
I think I asked that question a couple weeks ago. I think I asked Dave. I was like, is this related to Shazam in some way?
The Justice Society? Like,
oh my God.
Oh yeah, the Justice Society of America, like trying to explain that to Melissa. And she's like, so there's a Justice League. I was like, yep. And then there's a Justice Society.
Sure.
Well, who's on that? Who the fuck cares? Like, nobody cares.
And there's a Suicide Squad.
And there's a Suicide Squad. Like, I will say though, Buddy from what is it? PS.
Noah Centino?
Yeah. He stand out. Like, he was really well. Like, he was like, he played the fish out of water, like doesn't belong there, doesn't like know what to do with his power kind of thing. He played that very well.
Awesome.
And I can't remember the actor's name, but Melissa spotted him by a mile away. The villain was the guy who played Jafar in the Aladdin movie. And
Hot Jafar?
Yeah, Hot Jafar is in it. And guess what happens?
He's in the Charlize Theron one too.
Ooh.
What's it called? Tell us.
Old Guard.
Yeah, which is not horrible.
Anyway, so you see him glow up in Aladdin, right? And to become like the big fancy Jafar. Yeah, he does that again in this one. Puts on a crown and then goes like full like demon god thing. Jafar, basically.
Jafar. Just Jafar is it.
Just Jafar is it.
I don't know why they're still trying so hard to follow Marvel. Don't.
Yeah.
Well, because they've been operating like 6 years behind Marvel anyway, so they're still trying to do this thing.
Always. And that's stupid. And don't get me
Black Adam for like 15 years.
Literally. And I said that in my Letterboxd review. I was like, after like all that time, you're promising this movie, and then this is what you gave us. Like, just stop.
And apparently they don't even have a Superman movie in production. They have a bunch of Superman movies in production, but nothing with Henry Cavill.
Don't get me started on that post-credit scene, because like that was like the biggest tease, and it's going to turn out to be absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they hyped that up way too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we hyping up a credit scene? Why don't we just talk about the rest of the movie?
Yeah,
right.
Spend 2 hours just to watch a scene that somebody could rip onto YouTube, which
exactly.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. If they're fucking screaming in the background, and that Soups clown on Twitter is fucking filming it for an audience.
Jesus.
It was bad. You guys don't need to see it. Don't watch it. The hierarchy has not fucking changed. I don't know what hierarchy there was to be changed,
but it hasn't. Yeah.
It's not like DC's putting out banger movies.
Right. So. Exactly.
The Batman.
Again, not associated with the DCU. Thank you very much.
I don't think
DC adjacent.
Yeah, we'll take DC adjacent.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the actually the new hierarchy at DC kind of right the ship.
Yeah.
Or just kind of
hopefully.
Yeah, you want to talk about hierarchies that changed? Like I think James Gunn and what's his name, Pete Safran?
Yeah.
I think that hierarchy. Yeah. I want to see what their direction is, not fucking DJ and his fucking Black Adam bullshit.
And King Shark's coming back, so I'm excited about that.
Gotta love my King Shark.
Yeah, it was a huge pass. Don't see it. I saw it for you.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Thanks for taking that bullet.
Yeah, thanks, homie. Thanks, homie.
I'm hoping they use the Flash to kind of wipe the slate clean and just start over,
including getting a new Flash.
Or don't even. You know what?
Don't even release
over.
it.
Don't even start over. Aquaman's doing fine. Keep going there.
Yeah.
Batman's doing fine.
Sure.
Keep going there, and you're making a sequel to the Joker. Cool. James Gunn gets another Peacemaker off the ground, and we're good. We're good.
Yep.
Cut print. Yep. You got the money.
You got the money. Get a Suicide Squad 2 going on, and
okay, I didn't say that.
James Gunn.
Yeah, but he can't direct everything. He's got to run the company.
Yeah.
He's gonna be more he's gonna be more producer than he is or executive producer than he is director.
Sadness.
Jimmy.
James, hit us with your worst.
So we're talking about Jimmy Gunn. We'll go to our Jimmy.
I don't have a worst.
Juicy Jimmy, why are you doing it to us, bro?
I'm sorry, man. I will give a shout out to another movie that I think everyone should watch, though, and only because I can briefly talk about it with Dave, and we won't spend too much time on it. But another recommend for me is Fire of Love.
Nice.
Which is out on D+.
I'm glad you saw it finally.
I adored it. It's such a heartwarming little film about two people who were absolutely in love with volcanoes. And like the footage that they captured is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's just like a little love story wrapped up in like two people being super passionate about the same thing and like exploring and loving life together and learning and discovering, and Yeah.
Cracking jokes.
Cracking jokes in French.
Like, doesn't he want to like try and like swim down it or like use a boat?
He wants,
or something?
yeah,
Like,
he wants his lifelong dream is to build a boat that can withstand going down a river of lava and then sail down a river of lava.
That sounds badass. Like,
it's pretty badass.
it's pretty badass. And then like they show them the footage of them like standing next to volcanoes that are erupting, and it's not as badass anymore because you're like, this looks fucked dangerous.
It's fucked.
And like what ends up the epilogue of the film like kind of encapsulates how fucked it is.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I can't wait. It's on my list to watch before the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's very good. So I just wanted to give that quick shout out, recommend of a documentary. And it's just, I love the angle that they took on it. It's not a typical doc. It's focused on these two people and the love that they had for each other and the love that they both had for this one very specific passion. And yeah, and just their lives together. It was very well done, very well shot. The footage, and like a lot of it is like, well, I would say almost all of it actually is like their own footage that they captured going up to these volcanoes and things. Except for some of the epilogue stuff that's obviously from other sources, but all this stuff that is them on the volcanoes is like, it's them with their people that they brought to record or film, or their own film. Cause he would film everything and she would take photographs with still images and things like that. And just the shots that they were able to get and help demystify volcanoes while, being just a cute little couple together.
I really like the
touching.
Nice.
Too. Yeah, it was well done.
Narration's very well done.
Yeah.
Hope it gets a nom.
Yeah, in somewhere, like whether it's the Oscars or otherwise, it definitely deserves some recognition for just being one of the sweetest documentaries I've watched in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nice.
Yeah,
can't wait to check that out.
I didn't have a worst, so I just figured I'd throw it another, hey, watch this.
Yeah.
We on to our next segment, the Shudder Minute.
Yeah, let's do the Shudder Minute.
Evil lurking deep inside, its darkness knows no limit. So listen closely if you dare. This is the Shudder Minute.
I can't believe we have another theme song.
I love it.
Josh is our homie, man.
Such an awesome guy. Awesome jingle. Fucking love it.
Awesome jingle. Awesome podcast. If you don't listen to the Foley podcast, you definitely should, because he makes these jingles for us because he's just very good with sound and music and things that we are not good at. And he helps us. So I hope you help him and just listen. They're short. They're not like us. You don't have to fucking give an hour and a half of your life every 2 weeks to this nonsense. You can listen to something short and sweet and maybe learn something. Whereas this is just us three fucking idiots talking about nonsense for an hour and a half. So
yeah, just a bunch of jackasses just bitching about movies.
Yeah. What do we got? Anyway, the Shudder Minute. Tony, what do you watch?
Buddy, I'm very excited for the Shudder Minute this time around. I watched a Canadian film called Slash Back.
Nice.
Which is on Shudder as of Friday. Yeah, it was on Shudder as of Friday. But nice. Just so you guys know, it is not on Shudder in Canada because it is on Crave in Canada. So it is on Shudder in the United States. I found that out recently.
Nice. Well, for Canadian fans, and
it's on Crave now. It's on Crave now. It's been on, I think it's been on Crave for a while, and it's just hitting the American market on Shudder now.
Awesome.
It is.
We saw it at South by, didn't we, Tony?
We did see it at South by, so you can talk about this.
Hey, cool! Look at you. Does Dave remember it? That was like 8,000 movies ago.
Some of it I do.
I would say that it is a cross between Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Thing.
Oh, cool.
And Attack the Block.
And Attack the Block, I would say.
Oh, man, no, I want to watch Attack the Block.
It's a good movie. Quick plot overview.
Truth.
Takes place in a little town in the Arctic.
Yeah.
During the longest day of the year. It is the day where the sun doesn't go down.
Sure.
These aliens have touched down in their town, and they just want the humans, and they want to take their blood.
Sure.
And they take their bodies over. And hilarity ensues.
Hilarity ensues.
And it's just about these group of kids. That's where the Attack of the Block comes from. It's this little gang of girls who
they're indigenous
girls who find the aliens, and they fight against them to protect their town. And I would say the only drawback of this movie is the movie's about 90 minutes long, but the shit doesn't really hit the fan until maybe 45 minutes in.
Okay.
So
you got to sink half. Yeah.
You got to sink at least half the movie before, because like they do, they like introduce the story, they introduce the characters, all that stuff. You see like some light scenes where the aliens are introduced, and how the girls first run into the aliens in their little altercations and stuff. But then it doesn't get like wild until like the second half of the movie. But when it gets wild, it is fucking batshit.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
And it's Canadian too, so James will remind you of another Indigenous horror movie that we saw, Blood Quantum.
Yeah,
that's what
that was a good one.
It did. Yeah, it did feel very Blood Quantum-ish.
All right.
Yeah.
And
also, R.I.P. to that director, by the way.
Absolutely.
I was about to say that.
That I really liked Blood Quantum, so. That if that's a similar, then I'm on board. That sounds
definitely
fun.
Similar vibes, and like I said, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the Thing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I liked
Jeff Barnaby. That was the
Jeff Barnaby.
Yes. I like the practical effects. Practical effects were really good. Some of the CG blood was really noticeable, and it kind of looked like in some parts it looked like it was on MS Paint.
Oh, that's fair.
But it's a lower budget movie. So, but what they did with the practicals, and especially like when the aliens took over the humans, what like the body looked like.
Sure.
Because like they do wacky shit, like they like their legs, like their knees will buckle down and they'll start like crab walking, and their arms will go like full double jointed around and stuff. Like that kind of stuff is cool because it's not CG. That's actually a person inside a suit doing that.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was definitely an interesting watch. Like I said, you gotta truck through the first half before you get to the good bits, but it is definitely worth it, I would say. And please support Canadian cinema, please.
Yes, 100%.
There you go.
Oh man,
I want to watch Blood Quantum again.
Yeah. I haven't watched that a bit. I don't think we watched it since it came out. I think.
No, I don't think so either.
But it was good. I remember liking it.
I want to watch his other one.
Yes,
which is called Rhymes for Young Ghouls.
Yes.
Nice.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that one out too.
So definitely check out Slashback. If you're in Canada, Slashback is on Crave TV, and if you're in America, you're on Shudder. Thank you to our friends at Shudder for providing us with that screener.
Big ups to Shudder. Hopefully, now that we have a jingle, you'll sponsor us. Actually,
yes, thank you.
We're like prim and proper now. Shudder, come to us. Come to me, business daddy.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. But the main event. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we get to the main event?
No, let's rock.
Let's rock it. Other than, I think we should at least have a moment for Jason David Frank, who committed suicide today.
Yes.
Is that what happened? I didn't hear what.
Yes, he did commit suicide. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Unfortunate. He played the Green Ranger in the Power Ranger franchise, as well as Kevin Conroy, who did the voice of Batman in the animated series, as well as countless movies, video games. He was in the live action stuff as well. Just all around the voice of the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That one hurt. That one really hurt.
He passed away last week.
Yeah, last week. Yep.
Last week, because I watched Mask of the Phantasm last week.
Yeah.
I watched Sub-Zero for the first time.
I've never seen that one.
That one's decent. Yeah. It's decent.
Yeah. But to 90s icons that we would have grown up with. So,
and Kevin Conroy was still working in the 2000s and 2010s too, doing the voice of Batman. But yes, very much Batman the Animated Series from the 90s.
Yeah.
He was my voice of Batman for sure.
Yeah, I would say so as well. And hope their families are doing well.
Yes.
And, rest in peace, boys.
Rest in peace.
Okay, on to the main event.
Yes.
We're talking this week about She Said.
It's another Men Are Trash week.
Yes, it seems like a recurring theme for us.
I love it.
Cis, hetero white men.
Abusing power, et cetera. Yeah, that's...
It's about the investigation into Harvey Weinstein and all of the plethora of sexual assaults and awful things that he did.
Fucking absolutely horrific shit that man inflicted on women.
Yeah. And just it chronicles two journalists, they're working mothers, who kind of put the pieces together and kind of bring the story. They work for the New York Times, and they're dealing with all sorts of sources who don't want to talk, and just all the arbitrary bullshit and NDAs that came with it, and eventually how they published.
Trying to get that story out,
and helped bring him down.
Yep.
So I was pretty riveted the whole time. Like, I love boots to the ground journalism movies.
Sure.
As a grade school kid.
Like you like the next person, yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. To that point though, I don't know if it needed to be dramatized so quickly, or if we even needed the movie right now, or if it just kind of felt kind of like the story's not over. It's still going.
The story's not over, and I kind of agree with you. I also don't know that this movie kind of knew what it wanted to be. Like, it tried to be slick, like a, All the President's Men spotlight. Give me another one that I'm blanking on right now.
I called it Spotlight Light.
Yeah. But the problem is, to me, is it also tried to also kind of be like a mini documentary on the subject at times with what they cut in there.
They mixed in the radio lines and like the phone.
Yeah. The audio.
The
wiretapped. Yeah.
Wiretap audio. I think the phone calls, I think that was a recreation.
Recreation? Yeah. Okay. So it was just the wiretap. The
wiretap was him.
Yeah. So it was just, there was a lot of like intercutting that in there. I understand why they did it. It just was, to me, it contributed to this factor of it felt jagged in the way that it was made. I didn't like the way that it was jumping around, and maybe that has to do with the fact that, like, you know what, maybe we're not far enough removed from this yet to concisely write this story. I thought, like, once it got to because there's moments in there, right, where the women, the actors playing the actual women, were delivering their accounts of what happened by Harvey Weinstein, and I thought those moments were given the correct opportunity to breathe. They were well shot. They were well framed. They landed with the correct amount of gravitas, and like they gave the full weight of like, holy shit, that man is fucked. Like, what a horrific experience that you went through, sort of thing. Like, it landed that way, but I felt the rest of it didn't keep me interested at all. There was a lot of times, honestly, where I was sitting in the theater and I would look up and just like sigh, because I was just like, just fucking get on with it. Like, a lot of it was just, to me, everything around those moments was not as well done as those moments were, and it just felt like really rough and not concise enough, and not like, they left a lot of shit in there that probably could have gone. I also didn't like buy a lot of the camaraderie between the two journalists either. And it's just like a lot of everything else didn't work for me except for those moments. And that's what led to this whole thing of like, yeah, is it too soon? Should this maybe have been a documentary instead of a dramatized film? Like, is it ready for that? I don't think it is. It felt a little rushed. It felt a little messy. I don't know. That's where I was at on it.
I have some other feelings I want to get into.
Yeah.
But Tony.
Just expanding on the point of what James said, I think it's a little too soon for this. I don't think that Hollywood should have jumped on it to make it. Unless like all the box office earnings are going to all the victims of Harvey Weinstein, I don't think like now is the time. And I know
it didn't make much, so.
Yeah, because no one wants to hear about it because it's still going on. We're still hearing about all this in the media. Like, why do we
trial right now?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even know the outcome.
No, we don't. We only know the one outcome of his New York trial, correct? And we're still waiting for LA and London.
Yeah. And he's appealing the New York one.
Yeah,
exactly. So like we're still in the middle of this. Like, why did we need the movie telling the story about this? And I just don't think we needed it. But I will say, James, you mentioned the camaraderie. I said that word right, correct?
Camaraderie, yeah.
Yeah, between the two women. I actually like the chemistry between Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan. I really liked them. I think they did a fairly decent job, and I think it was definitely a good movie for both of them, and they were definitely powerhouse performances. Those two. Oh
no, I liked each of them individually. I just didn't buy their like that moment at the end where they were like crying and hugging and everything else. It's just like
they definitely didn't earn that moment at all.
That didn't like there was moments where they were like cheering, becoming besties and like hugging in the street, and I was just like, you didn't earn this yet, but that's fine. For me that was fair. Just that was coming from the jagged nature of everything and like the amount of jumps that they had to do, because I know how long it took to put together, and I get that, and like you don't want to go through all the minutia, but it was just like it felt, when it wasn't talking about the actual stories that those women went through, it felt very like unfocused and messy to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the only part that felt disingenuous in respect to them, kind of the camaraderie you were going on about, is they're walking together, and there's two construction guys kind of standing to the side.
Yeah.
And I assume they were going to get catcalled, but I guess they didn't want to redo that scene since they already did it.
Yeah.
But they're talking about like the ramifications of doing the story and like what it means, why they should keep going.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like the pull quote Carey Mulligan Oscar.
Yes.
Like, scene. And it just, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, this is total nonsense. This is totally disingenuous. And then they do it again later when they're in a taxi cab together, and that felt more genuine.
Yeah, I didn't have that. The moment you're talking about is the one that definitely I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? But the one in the cab, I do.
It felt very movie, very like this. We're only putting this in because it's a movie type thing, and we need something
this
to get from point
here.
A to point B. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but besides those moments of disingenuous and genuine moments, I will take you to task on the point you made where you were talking about the women and kind of sharing their story.
Sure.
I thought that they didn't need the flashbacks. I thought it was powerful enough.
Yeah.
Just hearing them talk.
Yep.
And just telling their story. They didn't need random flashbacks. And they're told differently because like the one is like, oh, they're having fun and everything, and then they don't say anything, and then another one was you see all the clothes all over the place in the hotel room and the shower going type thing as she's telling this harrowing story about getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how the movie starts as well. I missed the first like 3 minutes.
That was, you know what, that's another good point too, is like it started off with a flashback that you don't realize it's a flashback until you get to the story later on in the film. But it starts off with that one girl, her first day on set, and then it jump cuts to her running down the middle of the street.
Okay.
And then it gets into the rest of it.
The movie start the one time I'm late and there's no previews. Like I don't know how that happens.
That's whack.
Somebody came into the theater to say, "Hey, we're skipping through the commercials today and just going right to the movie."
Whack.
The one day when I'm trying to plan around, like you know, like
20 minutes of commercial.
Exactly.
We got the full 20 in my screening. Oof. We got all the previews. Every fucking Fox Searchlight fucking thing or random ass documentary. You know it.
Yuck.
Love it.
Anyways. So I didn't think they needed those flashbacks. I think they did a very good job. Just interviewing or just having these young women say or speak their truth. And like to that point, Samantha Morton dropped another holy hand grenade of a one scene performance that fucking devastates the whole movie, and then she leaves because she does it in The Whale as well, where she's only in one scene and she fucking destroys. So she slays.
Yeah, she crushed it though.
She crushed that.
She crushes that scene.
Yeah.
And I think more to the point, I think the score was so distracting.
Yeah.
Because it was fine, but then it would like build up to like the revelations, and it's like, okay, well, we already know, like, since it's so recent, a lot of us already know these horrible things. Like, you don't need the manipulative score there.
Yeah.
Like you don't need it there. And to that point, I wanted to watch Spotlight and All the President's Men, but I only got to watch All the President's Men. And
not a bad sacrifice. That's an incredible movie.
Right. And there's no score. Like there's score in certain scenes, but not in like the interview scenes or where they're like hitting the boots, running and writing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of split diopter too, which chef's kiss.
Yes.
But that film came out 4 years after Watergate?
Yeah.
So it would have been recent too. So when we keep saying this, like this recency bias, but were they saying the same thing back then? Like, I know that movie still ended up being nominated for Best Picture, and it's considered one of the greatest films of all time, but in 20-30 years, are we going to watch are there going to be people like Quentin who watches She Said and not know the whole story and feel the same way like that we do about All the President's Men? Like, maybe we shouldn't be giving it the recency bias so much as maybe you just didn't need to make it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not cinematic. It's just a horrible thing that happened and is still happening. And
and the angle that they take with focusing on the actual writing of the article makes sense, and very much similar to All the President's Men, where you're focusing on the writing of that article about the event that happens. But I think also, like, All the President's Men is following, like, it came out 4 years after, but it was following like a huge fucking scandal, which I guess this one is as well. But it's sort of like,
this is monumental fucking scandal.
That scandal was kind of happening in real time, and these were the investigative journalists trying to get to the bottom of like this fucking thing that happened, this mystery, and piecing it together. Whereas in this one, all of it had already happened, and we were just like trying to piece together this article for it, going back all the way to the 90s, and then, you know, halfway through or not even halfway, towards the end, they're like, yeah, but it's still going on now. Like, he's doing this shit now, and it's like you just drop that bombshell everywhere, because it was it, I don't remember who it was, but it was like one of them was like, I don't know why you're focusing on the 90s. This is still going on right now. And it was like, Jesus, like, the fuck? Like,
I'm trying to find the character's name because he was very good.
Yes.
So I need to find his name.
There was a lot of moments in this, like the actors that they got were really good. But
I I liked what's his name? Andre
Brower.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
As the no nonsense New York Times guy. Yeah.
He obviously reminded me of Holt, but from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but like he was just you felt it. He was genuine, and like it was just a very powerful performance.
Yeah, I agree. I said there was like a lot of people around it that were really, really good.
Yeah, and I liked what's her name? Patricia Clarkson.
Oh, she was very good.
Yeah, she was very good in it too.
Like, yeah. It just there was something missing overall in this, and I don't know if it's the too soon thing, if it's maybe they rushed it a little bit more than they thought, if they didn't know which kind of way to go with it and they took a risk and went with this dramatized way of doing it, which is fine, but I don't know. It just there's some element in here that just did not fit properly. It's not anything to do with the content itself. It's everything to do with just the way that this film is dramatized. Something just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So Zach Grenier was the interview subject who or the accountant guy.
Yes, the accountant, yes.
The accountant guy who kind of drops that bomb of it's still happening. Why are you just talking about the 90s?
Yeah.
And he's a great character actor.
Incredible.
That one scene where they're showing or they're playing the tape, it's the real tape.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of like going up and down the hallway.
The hallway, yeah.
That was the most powerful scene in the film. And I think, and then again, to my point, when they're speaking their truth is very powerful.
Yes.
And very emotional and riveting. And maybe that should have been a documentary.
Yeah.
Them just speaking what happened.
Yeah.
Like maybe,
and also I also just sort of to that of like, you know, maybe a documentary you would have also like landed some of these actors who didn't end up wanting to be in this dramatization, and you ended up doing weird things like, oh, we're meeting Gwyneth Paltrow, and it's a shot of them like sitting by the pool outside of this house, and then cut away. Yeah, so I met with Gwyneth Paltrow, and it's just like,
and then then she calls later.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out. And then Rose McGowan as well.
Again, yeah.
So yeah, like maybe like it's well filmed and it's well acted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there is some awkwardness. And then the fucking Harvey Weinstein of it all. Like just
Yeah, like that really pissed me off. Like I know it was just the back of his head. But like, did we really need it?
Yeah, I mean, we cut away from Gwyneth Paltrow's fucking backyard. Did we really need to see the back of a lookalike Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah. We didn't at all.
Like it's a movie with good intentions.
Very good intentions, yes.
Very good intentions. And I understand like it's definitely a story that needs to be told. Because obviously not enough people know what happened.
100%. And
how awful it was for so many of these women,
and and also like how common it is. Like I've talked to people that like, you know, I went to the movies and my friend was like, that's happened to me. Like that tape where someone was like, don't embarrass me. Like where he's like, don't embarrass me in the hotel. Don't embarrass me. Like I'm a big deal here. That was said to her. Like she's been like, these are like, this shit is not like, yeah, it came from Harvey Weinstein, who's, you know, got a whole bunch of power behind him as well. But the shit happens everywhere. It's like, regardless of it being super powerful, it's like they kind of mentioned in this movie too. It's like, if it can happen to celebrities, A-list actors, it's happening everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like if they're not untouchable, then no one is safe. Like it's fucked. It's absolutely fucked. And like, definitely, yeah, it has a point, and the point it's trying to get across and show and describe and like put on display is that this shit is not okay. And like, it shouldn't ever be okay. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. And like, people should be aware of that for sure.
I don't know how I followed that up.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I agree. Like the content is great and has such good intentions as a movie. It's just something's not fully working.
That's fair. That's fair. And since I am comparing it to All the President's Men,
yeah,
I think a key difference as well, they don't really show the home life of Woodward and Bernstein. They're always working.
Yeah.
Right. And this movie makes proper emphasis on like these are working mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have husbands at home. Like they are fucking waking up in the middle of the night to people calling them or calling each other type thing. Like they have lives outside of the news.
Well, you hear there's that one scene with Carey Mulligan when she's like breaking down because she's so exhausted.
Yeah.
And like she starts freaking out and like she just starts losing it. And then the husband goes like, you need to rest.
Yeah.
You're putting too much on this. I thought that was a very, very powerful scene because it shows like the ramifications that these women, like they're everyday women, just trying to live their lives, but at the same time, like try and handle like the biggest story of their careers.
Well, at that point, at that point, I think the intention they were trying to make is that postpartum depression is a real thing.
That too.
So I think that's what that bit was.
They're not ordinary by any means.
Yeah.
These are two extraordinary women who did something extraordinary.
Yeah.
They deserve to have their story told.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I'm not.
I wish it was
debating
better.
that.
Yes.
I wish it was.
I wish it was a film that did more justice for them.
But that said, I'm still happy that Maria Schrader, who directed I'm Your Man last year, which I think the three of us all loved.
Yeah.
I'm glad she is continuing to get important film, or she's making important films and she's not just getting sucked into the fucking Marvel machine.
Exactly. Yeah. Just as a last point, and only because I just remembered it and it's been kind of bugging me when I watched it, did the scene right at the beginning? I know you missed kind of the beginning with that opening, but like when it gets past that brief, well, call it a cold open into the story proper, let's call it, before you realize that you watched a flashback. There's that whole bit of Carey Mulligan's character Tui in like doing that Donald Trump piece, and I was just like, we got past that, and I was just like, why was that there? I get the connection and the loose connection to it of powerful men, like abusing their power against women and everything else, and like trying to show her dejection, but like it was like there was so much of it. It wasn't just like a throwaway thing of like, you could have talked about that at any point. I didn't feel like, I don't know why we had to watch her like try to get a comment from Trump and see that. I was just like, I don't know why it's here.
I think it was kind of to show that she was it's not her first time doing it, taking on the establishment like that.
Yeah.
And kind of like how she's hesitant to take on the story.
Right.
I think that's the point. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of like, why did you put that there? Like you could have just
you could have done it still, or you could have talked about it still in some way, like, oh, like when I did that Trump piece and it was just like blah 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 blah, but like you spent like a good 5 to 10 minutes on that alone. I think it was like 5 minutes for sure of just like that investigative piece at the beginning. I was just I don't know why that's 10-minute
interlude before she gives birth, and
exactly
intercut with her being pregnant and getting ready to give birth. And
taking the phone call from Trump at home. It was just like
all of that. Yeah, I think it's definitely a character building thing, but it's not really. I don't know if it's relevant or if it's just filler. I don't know. They could have jumped to the bones of it all.
Yeah,
the nuts and bolts quicker.
Yeah.
So good intentions all around, but there's a lot of stumbling and a lot of things that I don't think they needed.
Yep.
How I would have done it differently. But that said, again, we're cis hetero white men and we're not women, so I'm glad a woman told this story.
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure. Yeah, but I think that about wraps it up. I mean, it like if you don't really know anything about what happened with Harvey Weinstein and the horrific shit that he did, check it out. I just temper your expectations. I think don't go in expecting all the president's men.
What did Alyssa think, Dave?
I think she I don't think she loved it.
No,
I think she was a bit of a downer. She called it a bit of a downer, which I don't know if she was really thinking it would be uplifting.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the wholesome family movie of the holiday season.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be uplifting, so I don't know if she did, but yeah, I don't think she was thrilled with it. And I don't think, but again, it's a very specific movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of the movie is them getting rejected and them trying to write the piece. So if you're not really on board with that, you're not gonna love it.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
What did Melissa think?
Melissa enjoyed it. She really, really liked it. She actually teared up in the car talking about it. So I think it really affected her, and she really enjoyed it.
I'm happy to hear that. It's definitely an affecting movie.
Yeah.
But
it definitely makes you think about it and think about how men are trash, and you know the Hollywood elite are they're trash.
Yeah.
Not even that, just that they let them they let it happen for so long without, and it was like almost like a secret that everybody knew, just refused to say anything about it.
Yeah.
The worst unkept secret in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
fuck that guy.
Yeah, I'm about done talking about this piece of shit. So
agreed.
Yeah, let's not give him any more time.
Yeah, exactly. Let's sail on into our final segment of the evening. The one and only. The holdout, actually, since the beginning. I don't think we've ever missed one. Maybe once. Dave's New Blues.
What did that boy buy? It's Dave's New Blues.
I don't know if we ever did miss one. I know we done Dave's Collectibles, but
fucking love that jingle, man. Love that jingle.
It's a good friggin' jingle.
I like that we're just becoming a jingle podcast. It's becoming a lot of fun. I want more.
We have segments.
Yeah, that's great.
We need segments.
We have recurring segments. I had already mentioned this, and I finally got it, but it's The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Which I finally got from the UK. I had to import this one too, and the second disc is Region B, so I can't watch it.
Sucks.
So I guess I just have to buy a region free player, obviously.
Yeah.
Or manipulate one of the ones I have to play region free, because there's a couple of features on it that I would love to see. But anyways, so it comes in this little slipcase.
Nice.
Which kind of resembles a wallet. And then you open it up. There's a little baggie of cocaine.
Amazing.
There's a credit card that has cocaine stains on it.
Amazing.
There's his business card.
Yeah, Stratton Oakmont. It's amazing. Sell me this pen. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, lost it there. There's a replica $100 bill.
Amazing.
Stratton Oakmont Bundy.
That's cool.
Which is cool.
A fun coupon.
Right. And then a book that it comes with, which has some pretty cool essays and writing on the film. It kind of has like the thing, so it kind of looks like a deck of money, 10 grand.
Nice.
And yeah, there's some great writing in here. I was really into, and it's like a 60. Yeah, it's about a 60-page book.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. And then no art cards this time, I guess, because I got all the extra stuff.
Sad times.
Like, this is one of the first ones, the first arrows I've gotten where it's more of an elaborate case as opposed to just a hard shell thing in a book.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then just the regular.
Nice.
Regular case with the 4K and the Region B I can't do anything with.
Right.
So, and then the postcard for a movie called Fucking Amal. Cool.
All
Fucking
right.
Amal.
Fucking Amal.
Adding that to the list.
That said, the disc I can watch has the audio commentary. It has an introduction, a 15-minute introduction that kind of goes through Scorsese's filmography.
Sure.
And it was talking a lot about After Hours, so I didn't want to watch it because I've never seen After Hours. And I really, really want to see After Hours.
Sure.
Because I heard it's like one of his only straight comedies.
Oh, that's fun.
Right? Because The Wolf of Wall Street is kind of a comedy.
Yeah.
And what else was I going to say? And then it has the trailers, because I fucking, the trailer with Black Skinhead over it is like one of my favorite trailers ever.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
It's a good cut trailer.
And yeah, I intended to watch like 10 minutes just for funsies, and I ended up watching half of it.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
That movie is a brisk 3 hours.
I was like, I should probably turn this off, because if I don't, it's going to be like 4 a.m. when I'm done with it. But yeah, it's he probably should have won for it instead of The Revenant.
That's fair.
Yeah, like McConaughey would put in a great performance in Dallas Buyers, but yeah, he should have. I think Leo should have won that year.
That's fair. I get that. I haven't seen The Revenant since it came out, to be honest. I don't even know if it holds up.
I definitely am not running to see The Revenant again.
I bought the 4K. I just
that doesn't surprise us at all, Dave, because like what else you got on 4K? Don't you have like My Fair Lady on 4K? Like what the fuck do you need that?
Tony.
I don't give a fuck if it won Best Picture. You gonna get that on 4K? You need what? Who's the main actor in that one?
Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey Hepburn. You need to see Audrey Hepburn in 4K.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
All right. Well,
like what do you have against Oscar-winning movies?
Just because it won an Oscar doesn't mean that it like. James, you saw all the Best Picture movies.
You sure did.
Just because it won Best Picture doesn't make it a good movie, correct?
That is very much correct.
There you go.
Crash being one of those.
And there you go. Wrapped up with a little bit of cheese on it.
I'm pretty sure people like My Fair Lady more than they like Crash.
Yeah, I think so.
Tony, like don't hate on My Fair Lady. Come on.
I'm just hating on it because you have it on 4K and you don't need it on 4K.
You probably don't need that one on 4K, homie. I appreciate you having it, but
at the same time, I have a robust Blu-ray collection.
You do.
And if I never bought it on DVD or Blu-ray, like what's the harm? You might as well get the 4K. Up a 4K, Tone. What's the harm in that? Like I never had The Mummy, which is egregious because I should have definitely bought The Mummy more than once.
Yeah, that's a poor decision.
I bought that on 4K.
Well, The Mummy deserves to be on 4K. Like
agreed.
That's a movie that you would see on 4K.
More than Best Picture winning My Fair Lady.
All right. Anyways, so agree to disagree. Like I'm not gonna get into this because
fine, whatever you
I think our fans would agree My Fair Lady on 4K. I'm pretty sure you can use your $25 and get a sandwich that's better than
But the sandwich will only last for so long.
It's true.
It doesn't appreciate in value like the 4K of My Fair Lady.
Exactly, but it doesn't get as much dust as My Fair Lady's gonna get as it sits on Dave's shelf.
That's probably true, but he has it at least. At the end of the day, Tony,
I'm calling it now. He's only gonna watch that movie once.
At the end of the day, you know what? If the internet collapses upon itself, capitalism dies, and we no longer have internet or streaming services, Dave gets to watch My Fair Lady. Who else can say the same?
It's true. That's true. I will give him that.
This is true.
He's a movie preservationist at this point.
He is. You're doing the Lord's work, Dave.
The Lord's work.
Thanks, Tony.
You're welcome.
Anyways,
I think that about wraps it up now that you chewed me out over one specific 4K. I
love it.
Join us next time when I chew him out for other 4Ks that he has on his shelf.
Hey man, I don't care what anybody says. When Meet the Feebles comes out, I'm getting the 4K.
Bad Taste, like I'm getting all three of them.
All three,
Bad Taste,
the whole thing.
Dead Alive. Like
I wanted the Frighteners, man. I would have bought it.
Frighteners. That's another good one. It's a good
I would
one.
have bought it.
Peter Jackson, get your fucking shit together. I think it's the second time I've said that on the podcast. Get your shit together, PJ.
If the
Friend of the podcast, PJ Jackson.
Frighteners is coming, the other ones can't be far behind.
Yeah, hell
Christ. Hells yeah.
Yeah. So with that, my name is Dave, and as always, I was here with
Big Tasty.
And Big Tasty. It sounds like a really bad chewing gum. Anyway, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And we're gonna spit out the Big Tasty, and we'll see you next time.
Hell yeah.
See you later, guys.